Hey there, we have like eons of stories to tell, so if you want to follow us along on this journey and keep up with all the stories that we have putting out, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. Okay, man. All right, bro. Jason Aaron, you are ridiculously good. Oh my god. This story is so good. Like when I first start like talking like right now, it's gonna be non-stop action. Like, it is insane the way that this story is going out. All right, so basically we just left off with all of the Thors. They had just met each other on like the ship, right? And basically they're going in to fight Gorr the God Butcher. So when we pick up here, Gorr, he's like in his home and he's talking to his wife, right? And basically his wife's just asking him, like, like what is he gonna do, stuff like that after he gets done, with the bomb and stuff, like after he blows it up and kills all the guys. And he's just like, I mean, I could just start living, I don't have to worry about this no more. I don't have to keep doing this kind of stuff pretty much. And like when they're talking, this large storm just like shows up and they just go and look at it, and all of the Thors just come flying through it on the ship. And like when they get there, this right here shows like they're actually like the personification of like how these Thors are basically, right? So they're trying to like make up a plan, right? They're trying to make up a plan, and like the old man Thor, he's just like, okay, yeah, y'all just like follow my lead. And the young Thor, he's just like rash, like he's just like ready to get out there and just like start flying. He's just like talking about, oh well, let's just go hit him with hammers, like like stuff like that. He's not really thinking it through. He just wants to go out there and just fight, pretty much, right? And so end up like he just starts getting reckless, right? He just like jumps off, and they just start all just like going towards Gorr the God Butcher. The old man Thor, he jumps off, and then present day Thor, he jumps off, and all of them, they just go in and they just start fighting these black berserkers of Thor, right? So when they're doing that, right? Like old Thor, he's just like, he starts feeling himself. He's like, oh man, this power is starting to feel good again. I haven't felt this in years. Like, oh, and he just starts like, just starts feeling himself. And he's like, oh, let me see what this can do. And he just like uses the Thor force and sends Gorr flying. He sends Gorr flying so far. He sends him light years away into like this old planet, right? So they follow Gorr, right? Like him, like the old man Thor and present day Thor, because young Thor, he can't fly. He doesn't have Mjolnir, so he can't really fly. Like old man Thor and present day Thor, they go following this guy, right? As soon as they get there and like they're following him, he starts throwing like Gorr. He just starts throwing chunks of the moon at him, right? Like he just like starts taking these things off, just like starts swinging them at him, because he's scared now. Like after getting blasted by the Thor force, he is terrified. Like he knows he might die here if he doesn't like do something. So he's sitting there, he's throwing like chunks of the moon, right? And basically he's like communicating with his berserkers back on like his planet. And he's basically telling them to start like killing all the guys, right? Just kill all these guys, right? Get all of them out of here. Like whenever you kill them, they power me up. Kill every single one you find. And they just start killing all these different guys, right? And he just starts getting stronger and stronger. So what he does is he has like this serpent, right? He has this black serpent, and he tells that and makes that go and fight present and old Thor, right? So those two, like present day Thor and old Thor, they're both fighting these. I'm gonna just call them modern Thor because it's easier to say that than present day. Modern Thor and old man Thor, they're both like just fighting this serpent, right? And young Thor, he just comes flying in on this the space shark, smacks Gorr. He sends Gorr just flying. Like right now, Gorr, he is just outnumbered and outmatched. Like they're like he has to do something quick. He is getting tore up right now, and he just like sends him flying, right? So old man Thor, he holds off the serpent, right? And he has the modern Thor go and follow the young Thor, and go continue to fight against Gorr the God Butcher, right? So modern Thor, he like follows Gorr, right? He's just like fighting, and like they're fighting, they're just like throwing hands, right? Throwing hammers, all that stuff. They're going at it, and basically like he looks over and he realizes this planet that he's looking at is not empty. There's people on it, so he flies over there, right? He flies over there, he does whatever, he flies through, stuff like that, bringing storms and stuff. And basically all these guys, they just start praying for him, right? And it basically like powers him up a little bit. So what he does is, like he comes back and he starts like fighting Gorr, right? So this is like the like revelation kind of like what's going on in this story. Basically, Gorr the God Butcher, right? He's like talking to modern Thor, and basically what he says is like, you feel the same way I do. You're not 100% sure that gods are necessary, stuff like that. And basically, bringing about this doubt that modern day Thor has, pretty much, right? Like thinking like with the like what places be better, if they didn't have faith, like God stuff, like stuff like that. And basically, he just like talking to them about that pretty much while they're fighting, right? So this is where old man Thor, right? Like he gets done fighting the serpent, right? And he ends up coming to like old Thor, young Thor, modern Thor, all of them, they're just like gathered back up against Gorr again, right? So what they do is, right, they're fighting, right? And they just like start charging Gorr the God Butcher into the sun, right? And like as soon as they get there, the sun turns black. Switch back to Gorr's planet, right? It starts to rain. It starts raining blood, right? Then it starts raining hammers. then all three of these Thors, they just fly, like just hit the ground. All three of these Thors have just been just dismantled again. This is the second time. Like Gorr, he's way too powerful right now, right? So basically what he does is, right, he takes old man Thor, he nails him to this asteroid, and he like sends the asteroid into space, right? And then the modern Thor, he like falls inside of this pit, right? Like the ground opens up and he falls in there, right? So he's about to like, you know, burn to death, right? So basically he takes young Thor, and he keeps young Thor with him, right? You know, he drags him by his hair and he basically takes him to the God Bomb, right? So when he does that, he's basically like gonna try to use his blood to, you know, like start the bomb, right? So when he's taking young Thor to the bomb, he ends up like coming across his wife, right? You know, his wife, he catches up, he's like, oh, what was all that? Like I heard like, you know, some rumbling, like you okay? You know, stuff like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And basically like she like starts going on. He's like, oh, I knew I had faith in you. Like yeah, I knew your like missions were gonna be, you know, fulfilled, you know, stuff like that. And basically like what she does is she calls him her God. And as soon as she says that, he walks over to her, kills her. Cause like he really like he has like all kinds of like disdain towards guys. Like he does not care about these guys at all. Like he just wants all of them out of there. As soon as she calls him that, he goes over there and kills her. So he starts walking again, right? And basically his son, like he starts asking him, he's like, oh, well, where's my mom? Like, well, have you seen my mom? Like, you know, where's she at? Like she said she was coming to see you. Like, where'd she go? And basically like what he tells her is, well, I mean, she probably just, you know, like you know, got lost or something. Like she left already. So and stuff like that. And basically like, you know, his son like walks off and he looks over and he sees her dead hand. Like he just sees her hand sticking out of the ground. So he just realized that his dad killed his mom. So basically after that, right, we go to Thor's granddaughters, right? And like what Gorr did was like he has like the hammers, right? And he like covered them up with the all black. And basically he has like, you know, his Thor's granddaughters and stuff, you know, in there too. And basically they're just trying to reach the hammer, you know, because if they can reach one, you know, like it'll give them a better chance, you know, like it won't give them all the chance, like they'll still die, but it'll give them a better chance, you know, than if they didn't have it, right? So Gorr, you know, he's taking young Thor still, and he basically shows him the bomb, right? You know, he shows him the bomb, and he basically says that it was designed by Shadrach, you know, the god of bombs, right? So basically he starts telling Thor about how basically, you know, the bomb will reach through time, you know, kill all the guys that lived or ever will live, you know, the present guys, the past, you know, future, all of them, like all of them are just wiped out of existence, just no more. So basically he's saying that like the bomb itself is like it's powered by the blood of the gods. You know, he has the heart of the first elder god and like in there, and like whenever that explodes, like that's when it's gonna detonate, pretty much, right? So we go to modern Thor, right? So modern Thor, he like wakes up inside this pit, and he's like hanging on for dear life, right? And like Gorr's son, he's just sitting there looking at Thor, and he's just like, oh, I mean, yeah, like you gotta help take my dad down, you know, stuff like that, because he basically like killed my mom, you know, like my dad used to be a good man, and now he's just like, you know, like he's not the same guy anymore, basically, you know, stuff like that. And basically like this is where like, you know, it all starts getting weird, right? So like out of nowhere, right, like every single like force of Gorr, right, like the hammer shield that he made, all that stuff just like disintegrates, right? That just disintegrates. And like basically as soon as that happens, all the hammers start flying away, and like Gorr, he ends up like trying to like take the heart of young Thor, but Thor, he just like looks up and he like bites the eye of Gorr out, right? So like Gorr ends up like throwing him, right? He just like throws him away. He's like, get out of here, dude. And basically like that's where young Thor, he ends up like getting his axe, and like present and old Thor, they both recall their hammers, and they both just fly in. They just like slam on the ground. And basically Gorr, to like speed up the process, because you know, like he's probably gonna die, like, you know, he has to like get this bomb going. He ends up like stealing the heart of like this other guy, right? And he like uses that one to power this bomb, because Thor ain't just gonna let him have it. Thor's gonna, you know, like Thor's gonna make him work for it, pretty much. Like so the bomb ends up like, you know, like it starts like generating, right? So modern Thor and old Thor, they just fly in, they just get ready to go and fight Thor, right? But old Thor, like he tries to like hold Gorr back, right? And so instead of just like keeping his hammer and like fighting Gorr off, he like gives his hammer to like modern Thor. So modern Thor, he has 2 Mjolnirs, and he just like starts wailing away on his hammer. But instead of like destroying the bomb, it basically just like, you know, like explodes pretty much. Like in modern Thor, like this entire time, like before it like, you know, explodes, he's just like thinking like, you know, like should we be doing this? Like would it be better if gods didn't exist? You know, stuff like that. And everything just goes white. Like it blows up and everything just goes white. Like that's the end of what's going on. Now in the next video, we'll see like how, like what the aftermath of this is. So if you enjoyed the story, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Thank you for coming to Comic Book Cheese for all your comic book needs, and I will see y'all in the next one.